We're here.
We're here.
Ooh.
Yeah. This is the first seamless introduction, I think. Certainly that I've...
Without some random just chatter.
We're learning. We're learning over time.
Yeah,
Always improving.
Exactly. I think one of our
It's an
next things is
evolution.
we need that countdown to be a countercharge related one, not just the stock one, right? That's our next
It's like
big
blaster with the wick burning down.
Yeah, I like it. Maybe there's a red goblin blaster that blows up at the end.
Yeah.
I like
blowing up all the wingets.
Exactly.
That was
Looks like back to Fiverr we go.
We already have a thumbs up on YouTube, so that's impressive.
There you go. People like
and it wasn't me, so that's
one person.
Wait, one of the fallen. So
Chuck Williams likes that idea of our own countdown.
Yep.
So what have we been doing? Obviously, we all shanghaied and let poor Matt solo last week. So apologies to the crowd out there. I got back from NashCon and I'm old and I just couldn't do it. And Koos had his own.
Well, it was Margaret's birthday. So,
exactly. And Jeremy was
you guys.
Yeah, and Jeremy was getting back from getting married. So understandable. But man, Matt, what a great show.
No, I want to apologize to everyone too.
Yeah. No, it was I listened to it. It was good. It was good. It was definitely we all got to have those filler episodes, right?
Yeah. So the funny thing about Tony's place, where we usually play on a Monday night when we're not locked down, it's like this massive 3 or 4 car garage with no cars in it. He had to build a massive carport out the front to house his cars just so we could keep it as a gaming shed.
That's awesome. Prioritizing the priorities. I like it.
Isn't it? Yeah. Isn't it?
So what's been going on? It's been a hell of a week, guys.
Yeah.
Anything big? We had a bunch of tournaments that have been run recently.
I've been playing in an online tournament and playing a fair bit online. But that's about it. I've actually got a little bit of hobby done, which is nice. A little bit of painting, a little bit of starting on a couple of bases.
You still working on the Dragon Empire stuff?
Yeah, I'll be working on them for a long time. Yeah. But I think I'm going to start putting together a bit of a Trident Realms army in the background too. I've been enjoying playing them online.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. That's awesome.
I had a moment of realization that my tournament that I'm running in October is in less than 2 months. So I have some work to do. So I think
how's the terrain going for that?
Similarly to the last episode, but I had a bunch of locals listening in, and we have a slew of trees and offers of terrain to come in from the community, which is good because we can have some themed. A bunch of guys have really good theme tables, so that you can have those, and then extra trees. I got to work on a bunch of hills still. I have them cut. I just need to paint and flock them, and then
I think. Sorry, you keep going.
Oh, I was gonna say because Eamon, my resin dealer, he's gonna sponsor the tournament with a themed table of 3D printed terrain that we're gonna get paint up, and it's gonna be a giveaway at the end of the tournament.
That's awesome.
That'll be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, always a good idea to reach out to the community. Save yourself a lot of work.
I've been in tournaments where the whole tournament was people brought tables, right? So
I think we had
I brought a table.
10 to 15 tables of stuff ourselves from we have about 10 from the last tournament. We built a bunch in the meantime, planning for last year. So we'll be in good shape, but it's always good to have more than you need, for sure.
Well, I know in the beginning of the show we're gonna talk to the Spymaster himself, who was at Bison Brawl this past weekend, or actually 2 weekends ago. Was it just this weekend? Or was the weekend before?
Weekend before.
So same as NashCon, right? So okay, right. So we'll talk to Tom about that. Hopefully Jeremy will join us. We'll maybe chat a little bit about NashCon. No one's surprised that Jeff O'Neill won.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, come on.
With his completely normal balanced list. With
the reality is
perfect wingets.
I had an argument with somebody this week, and I said, if it was that easy to play, why is no one else playing it? And winning games?
Absolutely. It is not.
It's a hard army to play.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Yeah, you gotta. I mean, I know it is a lot of shooting, but man, you have to move the stuff, and he is ridiculously fast.
Yeah.
Can't
take anything away from his play. It's just I gotta mention.
Hey,
it at least 5 times per episode.
I had an epiphany though. I'm in my mind, getting Alpha Strike off the table is really no different than getting shot off the table. I think it's just skew lists in general are not fun to play against, right? For people that have that prefer the balanced army approach. But well, should we go ahead? Should we bring Tom on? What do you think?
Yeah, let's bring in the Spymaster.
He's the balanced list specialist.
Yeah, the balanced specialist.
We were just talking. I don't know if you heard it in the wings. In the green room, they say. Talking about Tom. Yeah, we were talking about Jeff O'Neill's list, and so
look at this.
I like the room.
We've got the top section,
lighting.
and then
he's like lit like in a CIA bunker.
Yeah, and like the bottom section of the screen is now the handsome section.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, and this is the old section up here in the corner, upper right.
Yeah.
And I guess the wild shirt man.
Right.
I think that's the garish corner.
The garish corner. Garish corner. That's something new. So, Tom, welcome to the show.
Thanks. Yeah, I like these live streams you guys have been doing. They're fun.
Well, let's jump into it. Let's talk about some Bison Brawl. That happened not this past weekend, but the weekend before.
Yep. Right.
Give us a little background on how long Bison Brawl has been going. Where it's from.
Jeremy's back.
Hey, the big kahuna.
Can you kahuna?
What are you on? Like a Spectrum or Amiga? What's going on here?
Oh, I'm on my phone now because my computer won't even boot up. So.
Because I can tell the framing is different.
Can you give yourself a nickname like the Big Kahuna? Is that something you can do for yourself?
I'm trying it out this time, so we'll see.
Yeah. Look how Tandy looks after his honeymoon.
It's the glow of love.
Glowing.
Yeah. Is that what it is?
Yeah, marriage is suiting you, man. Marriage is suiting you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Congratulations. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well,
so we were just introducing Tom. Tom was about to talk about
Bison Brawl.
Ooh, cool. Yeah, awesome.
Yeah, so it's a tournament in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, about 3 hours north of Dallas, where I am. And it was Slobber Knocker in the past. It was rebranded 2 years ago to Bison Brawl by Brian Bruder, who created a bunch of beautiful terrain for it, ran it year one. I think there was like 40-something players there. It was a great time. And then COVID happened, and we didn't run it last year. And Brian kind of is stepping back from some things right now. And so a guy named Andrew Minton took it over. Brian gave him all the terrain and the prize support and some of the accoutrements like the dice and the glasses and stuff to kind of help him get it up and going. And so, yeah, it was 2 weeks ago. We only had 18 players or various circumstances. Some people had vacations. It was right after Bayou Battles down in Houston, so some of the Texas guys weren't able to make it up. It was the same weekend as NashCon, so TNT. Maybe some of the brawlers would have come this way, but it was a good group of guys. It was nice being in like a small 20-something person tournament, and yeah, it was great. I mean, it was the terrain. I'm sure you've seen pictures of it, Rob. It's
amazing. It's like some of the best terrain. It's all 3D printed for the most part. And I mean, let's be honest, Brian's an accomplished painter. His armies have always looked beautiful, and the train's nothing short of that. And he bought specific mats to match exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. It was crazy. The tentacle table, the infamous tentacle table. So
that's right up Jeremy's alley.
Having a beautiful tentacle.
I'm not gonna say it.
When in nature,
that form of anime.
Go with the flow.
Oh, gotcha. All right.
So yeah, it was a good mix of Dallas guys, some Texas guys. A lot of Oklahoma locals were there, which was cool, including some I haven't met before. And we got the Wichita boys down from Wichita, Kansas, about 2 hours north. So yeah, it was a good mix.
And I have to ask, who is Austin Howell? I've never heard of him.
Really?
No.
He's part of the tripod with Jared Holcomb and.
Okay, so he's in Wichita. Okay, so he's one of the Wichita guys. Okay, because I'm like, for him to win a tournament and me not here, I mean, I must have heard of him before, but not recognizing the face with the name. I'm like, that caught me off guard, and then for you to come in second behind somebody that I didn't know, really shocking to me.
Well,
I think you've been giving him a few too many tips online.
Is there anything shocking about Tom coming second?
What's that?
No. I said, is there anything shocking about you coming second?
No, there's not at all, actually. Austin. I played Austin, so I was 4-1 with my undead. Austin was playing undead too, a little bit different, but he's been picking up some of my tips running the Mounted Revenant Kings. I've turned him onto that, and some of the item choices. He's followed my lead, and so we played in the third round. I had 3 double ones, 3 horrible true double ones, which has never happened to me before. I think I could have survived 2, but 3 was a little bit too much. So we both beat up the field pretty good with our undead armies. Good thing it's a no nerf cock. That's all I'll say.
And what's up with Aaron playing undead? So you see
he was just tired of playing as Varinger, and he didn't want to paint a new army. So he's like, I'll just run his army.
Wait. When does he ever paint a new army? Doesn't he just take the same models and run them as something else?
Yeah, he did. He actually, it was like an 8-drop army because he was just trying to use his models, and it didn't work out that well, as you can see. But yeah, he was running undead too.
It was nice to see some new names though coming back to the field, like Mike Krakowski, who from I guess he's from Kansas. And he hasn't been around in a while, so it's nice to see him coming back into the fold. You have some, sorry.
Yeah, no, that was a highlight, and he 3D printed his whole army like 2 weeks or 3 weeks before, printed it, painted it, based it. I played him in my first Lone Wolf like 4 years ago in 2017. Mm-hmm. So it was great to see him again. I haven't played him or really seen him since. He sold that army for $85 at the tournament, by the way. He was like, I'll just do it again.
He's done it like every tournament he's gone to. I think Dwayne The Rock Johnson, one of our friends down in, I don't know where he's at now. He was in Alabama. I think he's at this point probably acquired a few of his armies. So,
yeah.
So where were you guys at? Where was the venue this year?
It was not the same one as last year. It was just a Holiday Inn in Oklahoma City. It was nice. Yeah. I think it has room to expand. I think the goal probably for him is about 30 people or so, which I think is definitely achievable. But yeah, it was a good space. We played it safe, and yeah, everybody's good. So.
What was the scoring breakdown? I mean, I'm sharing here the results, but I see total and battle. I'm assuming there was a paint and a sports score.
Yeah, there was. I think it was like 125 points for battle possible in 5 games. There was like 40 or 50 points for paint and 30 points for sports. So it was definitely a battle turn. It was just a typical, standard scenarios. Battle was the predominant score, but paint and sports still mattered, so it was good.
Yeah. Well, I like those tournaments. I think they attract, and I think they're very viable for bringing new players in, because
exactly
vanilla Kings of War. So
right, not Texas Hold'em or anything like that. And our Dojo GT is going to be in 2 weeks, and so we have a similar philosophy. We have a little bit more. We look with the cards like Lady of the Lake does, the scenario cards. But yeah, it's all standard scenarios.
So what was the highlight from this Spice and Brawl for you?
Honestly, just seeing these guys who I haven't seen in over a year, because they didn't come to Lone Wolf this past spring. And so hanging out with the Wichita guys, they're always a good time. And seeing Mike again was probably the big highlight for me. So
I got to ask, is Randy getting any better?
Here's the thing, Rob. Like, our local scene in DFW has just exploded. Like, we lit our dojo group, which is basically the North Texas group minus Jeff and Mark and Hank and all the Fort Worth guys. We have like 25 people in that group. Like, we have so many new players. About 6 of them are going to Samurai Showdown in 2 weeks, their first tournament ever. And so I haven't been able to. The downside of going to a bunch of tournaments like I do is I don't have a ton of time to, time to go just hang out and teach people Kings of War, which I need to be better about that. But yeah, I haven't been able to work with him is what I'm trying to say.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah,
I mean, the good news is that he's an inflection or a shot in the arm of a good sport, right? So like, it's always a good addition to a team to have somebody that's so social and fun to be around. So you can teach him. You can teach him to be a good general. You can't teach somebody not to be a dick. So
exactly.
Matt's coming around.
That is actually highly accurate.
Yeah. So, well, let's talk about Dojo because that's coming up too, right? I'm sorry, Alex. You have
no, I was just making fun of Matt. It's all right.
So Dojo GT is coming up. We're excited.
Yeah. So yeah, it's in 2 weeks. It's the second weekend in September. Aaron Chapman's going to be running it again this year. We have 40 players paid right now, so we'll probably have a couple drops. We'll be up near 40. It's like I said, standard scenarios. It's Japanese themed terrain, mostly rice paddies and all the Japanese buildings and things like that. So it's going to be a good time. Everybody, like all the tournaments they seem to have now, we have a special character, the samurai, like same as we did last year, basically a vampire lord that's based on different stats based on your alignment, good, neutral, evil. And we have snare cards. You have 7 of them. We only have 5 rounds, so you won't use 2 of them. We got to kind of strategize and play the right one, all having to do with your samurai. So yeah, it's going to be a good time. It's the same venue as last year, a hotel right near Dallas Love Field, which is the airport in Dallas. So yeah.
And so what's the deal with the samurai? Like obviously you ran it last year. Is it the same, or tell us about the samurai?
Yeah, it's basically a vampire lord on foot, stat wise, and then based on your alignment, you have 1 or 2 tweaks. So like the good one has Iron Resolve and Elite. The evil one has Vicious and Life Leech, and then the neutral one has something else. And then they all have special abilities. So like there's one called Seppuku, so you can just blow yourself up and you lose the samurai for the rest of the game, but then it disorders everything within 9 inches of it. So last year, I think I had the record. I ran it against someone playing a super shooty Sylvan Kinless. So they had like 3 archmages, 3 the hunter heroes, 3 little like ballistas, and I just ran it right in front of them, and I disordered like 12 units. It was pretty fun.
So it's like that. What's the one from the Abyssal character from the Pit Eye Curse Thee?
Yeah, it's like Baal.
But you lose the character instead. Yeah.
Exactly. And then the other rule is like if you charge, and they all have duelists, so the idea is like they're supposed to get into fights with each other. So if one samurai charges the other samurai, you have to countercharge. You can't like dishonor yourself and go charge something else. So you're always trying to get them into battles. So it's a nice little mini game for each round. And that's our website. So.
And is that the spare room in your house, Tom, where you offer guests to stay? Is it? Yeah.
Yeah. Something like that.
Little chocolates on the pillow. Yeah.
Yeah. Come on down.
Well, what's the cap? I mean, how many spots do you have available for this year?
So we're capping it at 40. But like I said, if you're interested, we still have a couple people that haven't paid, and maybe 1 or 2 spots that are open. Perfect. And there's always going to be drops. So if you want to sign up, we'll find room for you. We have a ringer ready to go if necessary. And so yeah, if you want to come down, it's in Dallas, Texas, in 2 weeks. I think that is. Let me just check. It's the 14th. No, wait, that's August. It is the 11th and 12th of September, and we're up at Love Field. So.
Normally, people would say you don't want to win your own tournament, but this is Dojo, so I'm assuming it's highly encouraged. The Dojo wins the Dojo tournament, right?
My idea for the ringer, which we haven't done yet, but I will make happen, is normally the ringer's like you play the worst player, those battle points. But what I want to do is have somebody like Brad McKay just volunteer to be the ringer, and he plays whoever's at the top each round. I think that would be pretty fun.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Speaking of winning your own tournament, I think Steve Foster had a tournament this weekend, didn't he? He won his own tournament.
Yep. Oh yeah, the Cats of War or Kittens of War.
Kittens of War. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep. Yeah. No,
UB pays off, kids. UB pays off.
Yeah. Yeah, it does. His list is good.
Yeah, he's been playing that for a while too. I played his Abyssals in his tournament back in like February or whatever, or March, and it was a tough one.
Yeah, shooting and flying everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've played a couple of play by email games with him, and it's tough to play against. Yeah. Tom, have you got your list for us from from Bison? I'm guessing you sent it to Jeremy, but Jeremy's pretending his computer doesn't work. Yeah. Do you want to? Can you flick it to Rob?
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
If you forward it to Rob, we can, because someone has asked, so is Undead Anis's army list build too powerful?
I think it's the benchmark, right?
Yeah, people keep it's like, oh, that's the meta list, and I keep saying, well, it wasn't until I came up with it. But okay, that may be a little bit too cocky. Let's see here.
I do like the idea though of a ringer. It's not really a ringer, and
yeah.
Spoiler alert: we'll chat a little bit later about NashCon, and I was the ringer, and I went 3-2, 3-1-1, or 2-1-1. So, but I have legitimate excuses for that.
Yeah,
they were terrible players. But
I don't mind the ringer being just another player in the mix, so they're not playing the bottom every round. Like you're just playing. If you're playing where you play, and as long as you don't. In
my defense, I did not anticipate being the ringer. So I show up, and then I get a list from Tim Smith, and it's got 2 wingets, it's got 3 trombones, and all the stuff. And I'm like,
this isn't a ringer list.
I don't know how to pull. How do you pull punches with trombones? Right.
I'll tell you how. You deploy everything backwards.
Yeah. I like the idea of just playing.
It took me too long to learn that.
Like a real list, but you just kind of do things a little recklessly. You're just like, I'm just going to try and roll the most dice. I'm going to try and make them have like the most fun with my charge, or like just do something weird with my chaff to like make them like, oh, what the hell is he? You just do stuff that you would never do normally, but just like with a normal list.
Right.
Well, it sounds like Rob did do that. He played well.
Something a little out of the ordinary.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah. Well, Rob's pulling that list. Oh, here we go. Okay.
Boom.
Yeah.
Well, you want to walk us through it, Tom? Like, what's the thing behind the cards?
What's the secret sauce?
So honestly, the Rev Cav are still the secret sauce. They're just so good. Everybody has real trouble killing them, and they give you so many options for board control. It's ridiculous. And then the thing I added, so this is basically a pared down version of my Masters list. And what I added this time was for Masters, I had a Flying Pharaoh, and here I swapped that and some items for the Pegasus, the Vampire and Undead Pegasus. And that just gave me another angle to approach people at, another thing they had to worry about coming in the side. Well, they have these 4 big scary hammers and fast chaff rushing at them. And that's something I was missing at Masters, was everybody could just play me straight up because I had nothing that I could flank them if they didn't respect it. The Flying Pharaoh was good for board control, but I already had the 2 Revenant Kings for that. And so coming out of Masters, that was the one swap I would make, is swapping the Pegasus and some items for the Flying Pharaoh. And it worked out pretty darn well.
I know that I've always found that Vampire and Pegasus like invaluable for the list for that exact reason. Like, as I usually put meat on it, but you get a little bit more board control that way. But yeah, just having that's something they can get around, because everything in the list is kind of middle speed. Like nothing's fast, but nothing's slow. Like zombies, but like everything else is like kind of that middle speed. So having something that's actually fast provides like just that little extra.
Right. And what you don't realize about this list is nothing can actually charge anything until turn 3. Like if you don't move past your deployment line. So it's good to have that one speed 10 thing that can actually go and get objectives on the other side of the board, or go shut down a shooting unit or something. Because otherwise, I'm just moving up 8 inches a turn, which is still pretty fast because everybody wants to get to the middle of the board in most scenarios. But it helps to have that one piece that can go get something on the other side.
Yeah.
So
apply pressure. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So it's a pretty standard quad hammer list, Alex, like we talked about on a countercharge episode like a year ago at this point.
The blueprint,
just a 1995 version of that.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like when you get the quad hammer in 1995, like it just poses so many issues, especially when they're fairly durable.
Yeah, exactly. So
what was Austin using?
He had werewolves. So he had 2 werewolves and a Lycan hero, or I mean a werewolf hero, and then ghouls instead of the zombies. 1 white. So he was actually playing like a 5 hammer list, like 2 werewolves, a white, and 2 vampire infantry. So it was killier than mine was. I had a rear on his werewolf horde with my Pegasus and a front charge with whites, and I double won it. Oh. Then he ate my Pegasus, and then I charged back into his werewolves that I had just double won with my whites to kill it off. Double won it again the next turn. And then I had flanks on a flank charge with vampires into a ghoul regiment. I did like 27 wounds. And if I kill it, then his vampire infantry was out of position and because he couldn't see me, so he'd have to turn and then take a charge from my vampires. Double won that. And so it's just like it's too much to come back from.
Oof.
Adrian had a good comment about if you need a ringer, offer somebody a free entry. And then if they're needed as a ringer, they're your ringer. That's awesome. And there's no rule about not letting the ringer just be a regular player, right? Yeah. You can just have the ringer just be a regular player. They just know that they have to drop out if need.
Right. Yeah. We have a local guy that doesn't really care to play, but likes to show up and
absolutely.
This is called the lockdown haircut.
Yeah. Some people copy lists, some people copy hairstyles or lack of hairstyle.
Yeah, exactly. I think my tournament last 2 years ago, we just had someone who couldn't come both days. So he's like, I still want to come play in the tournament. So I was like, okay, you can be the ringer for like a couple games.
Yeah, absolutely. I think being flexible with it is good. We tend to do something that's not necessarily an easy list, but something that can, is just a bit of fun. Mm-hmm. Like it might actually be a bag full of hammers, but like it's unlikely to win because it's only got 7 drops or something. Yeah. Matt, if only if I put that back up, if only Michael Geld was something to aspire to, but he's not.
Were you talking about on the table? Were you talking about physically or on the table?
Just life.
Oh, just life. Okay.
Yeah.
So what's next for you, Tom? What's the next after Dojo? What's next?
It's going to be Alamo in October. So I honestly haven't painted anything up new because, as Matt knows, we've been doing play testing for the new Clash of Kings book that's coming out November 8th, and it was hard to play like normal Kings of War, no COG 22 this past weekend. Mm-hmm. I actually played a playtest game with Garrett Mercier with blank bases on Friday night during the tournament.
What's interesting is what's interesting is I think the changes are enough. I don't want to play the old version anymore. I just want to get straight into keeping going with COG 22. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hear that, Mantic? Release it a month early.
Yeah. Well, it's off to the it's with Mantic, but I doubt it'll come earlier than November 8th because that's only
what's that, pretty
10
soon.
Weeks away.
A couple months away. Yeah.
And that's pretty early for Clash of Kings usually.
Usually it's late November.
Yeah. So that's good.
Yeah, it's really exciting. There's so many changes and there's so many awesome new things coming. I mean, if you're not hyped up already, get hyped up. It's worth it. It'll live up to the hype, no doubt.
Yeah,
I'm sure it'll.
Yeah.
Yeah, after talking with Kyle and everyone and Pat at the Masters, it's like that's enough to get you excited and just keeps on like building. I know I got a lot of ideas of like what I want to do next after I eventually finish this army, but definitely waiting until to start anything new.
That's like everybody that's complaining about halflings being overpowered on fanatics. Like, just
bingo.
wait.
The discussion will end. It'll just stop the talk, right? Like, okay, yes, everything else caught up. Look, I get it. Aeronauts are powerful in this version of Kings of War, but in the future, maybe not.
Right.
Yeah. Only powerful if you do what Tom does with them.
Oh, yeah. Just take 8 aeronauts.
That's what playtesting's all about. What happens if I take 6 of this unit?
Yes.
Take 8 of it. See what happens.
Yeah. That's because it is, Adrian. That's because it is.
Yeah.
Well, like after last year, we didn't really get much of a shift at all. Like those changes were essentially just errata. Like there was nothing really to them. They didn't change anything.
Yeah, and I think that's the important thing to remember, right? Is that we're getting 2 years in one. So what seems like really big, and also last year was a chance for them to run some things, maybe less competitively, but they could still give us some options for the competitive game.
Yeah.
So,
and just like they always say, like, oh, it'd be nice to have more time to play test for Clash of Kings. Well, it's been 2 years of like testing ideas, right? So.
Yeah.
Well, let's switch gears. Go ahead, Tom.
No, I was just going to say, I'm most excited because they're making entire classes of units that you'd never think to take way better and just completely different ways to play. So it's really exciting.
I'm happy for that because like to reference that old episode with Jeremy that we did, Tom, it's just like it feels like things have been sorted at this point into buckets. Like there's little things that people can do, like that, some stuff at Masters wasn't like completely predictable, but like 95% of things are kind of in their lane at this point with the game. And I think it's time to mix things up.
It's going to do that. Yep, for sure.
And I think simply even the change that everyone already knows about from Kyle in terms of the inspiring change, even that is enough, because you're going to just see characters that you just never ever saw.
Yeah.
Because now they do more for you without having situational inspiring. Like I write lists with characters now that you just wouldn't put on the board before because they it were essentially a waste of points.
Well, it's the thing like you're saying with Trident Realm, like there are a bunch of characters that just you wouldn't take because of that.
Yeah, I can say mine, but it's still secret.
Oh, it's the secret army. What a cop out, Michael. If I was on the playtesting, I would tell you, but this guy won't. So, Tom, you got an answer to this?
Yeah. Oh, I do. Yeah, 100%. Brother Mark, get ready.
Yeah,
I'm excited.
Now. It's got a real reason to be in a separate list, which is really exciting.
Actually, that's a really good point in general, Tom. I think we've had a complaint that the theme lists have felt a bit useless, and they don't really add anything, or certainly a whole bunch of them. And the theme lists are certainly getting better. So
that's good to hear.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's true for almost all of them.
Yeah, almost.
That's good.
Well, let's jump in and talk a little bit about NashCon. Well, actually, that happened the same weekend as Bison Brawl, which is not this past weekend, but the weekend before. It's an SEC tournament that normally would have 55 to 65 players, but COVID kept some people away, and I think it was low 30s. I think we ended up with like 28 players, all said and done.
That's still pretty good.
Yeah, not bad. And so it's part of NashCon. Well, the event is part of NashCon, and NashCon is an HMGS event, or Historical Miniature Wargaming Society event. So it's got a historical bent. But what's weird is most of the players there aren't there for historicals. Between AOS and 30K, and which is weird. They don't have 40K, but they have 30K. And Kings of War, right? Historically, that's like, and they had a huge turnout for Marvel Crisis Protocol. So, anyways, new venue this year in outside of Nashville. It was great. I'm going to bring the results up, and we can maybe chat about that. They're not going to surprise anybody. That's, certainly not the Spymaster who peruses the Southeast waterways like an alligator. So, like an alligator.
Now I just got to picture him with like an alligator hat floating down a river.
Right.
Yeah, that should be his new tournament outfit. Just to
Exactly.
I'm in disguise.
So this is hopefully you can make this out. Again, while I love Tim Smith, I mean, come on, guys. He gives us a screenshot, like rather than just a spreadsheet. So anyway, and I mentioned already before, he gives the ringer 2 wingets, 3 trombones, 3 bangets. I mean, come on, dude.
What are you supposed to do? It's the Southeast, so I guess that's like the Southeast list, right?
He's like, well, you're supposed to pull your punches. So I tried my punches in one game, and I had a guy basically tell me to fuck off. If you pull your punches, that you're disrespecting me, and that like you're not there to like pull your punches. So I didn't pull my punches. I beat him. So
That is a good point, though. Like, but that is a good point. If you're already if you're already playing the Spymaster or the Ringer or whatever you want to call it, like, playing at a tournament's not about being given a free win, right?
Yep.
Right. So that's why I think it is better generally, probably to have a bit of a, have a player that knows what they're doing, like yourself, Rob, but probably a worse list. Yep. So they still, if the player is good, they're still going to get beaten.
Exactly. So, the usual suspects, the Sons of Vulcan were there. Minus Sean Williams. Sean Williams used to be like the second guy that would always show up behind Jeff, but he's tired of getting dick punched too many times by Jeff. So he's now playing Age of Sigmar. So.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because he won't get dick punched there.
And I think he finished to the bottom of that. So maybe he'll be back now. So. No, but Jeff O'Neill's list is the same. It's not the same. Hopefully you guys got that when we had that chat with him recently. That yes, it's been a shooting goblin list for the last couple of years, but there have been tweaks to the list. And it's not the shooting elements that have been changing. Typically, it's the other stuff. Like sometimes he has blaster, sometimes he has
a giant.
He's had a giant in this one. So like. It is changing a little bit. And obviously, sometimes I've seen him with and without the bangets. Because the bangets are, on paper great, but like as he tells you, some games they don't even do anything for the first 3 turns because you can't get in there. So, he is adjusting, right? And I think there's a slight adjustment in every game. Plus, when you play, Tom, you can attest if you play an army for 300 times, it well better than just about anybody. So,
right.
And we have. Go ahead.
Oh, especially an army that does, it's not easy to play. It's not like you just pick it up and pilot it because there's so many different pieces. Then you have to know exactly what you're doing or you're going to clock out, which he said as well in the interview.
And it just gets in its own way. Like if you have all those hordes and everything, there aren't many nimble. Like the war trombones aren't nimble like Radkin ones. So it's like you can really bog yourself up and get in traffic jams pretty easily.
Yeah, I think in the interview he said something that's really interesting about just I want the initiative, right? And you can certainly get the initiative through shooting, right, making people come to you. But I think it Masters. I think Keith got the drop on him. I think Keith took the initiative to him, and I think he was on the back foot most of the game.
Yeah.
So my point is, it's not an unbeatable list, right? It's just for some reason we can't beat it in the Southeast. I don't know.
Yeah,
Keith,
but that is.
Go ahead.
No, sorry, you go.
No, I was just like Keith made a try. He did pull out a draw against him.
Yeah.
And he screamed like he won, but look, a draw. Second is still last in my book, right?
Well, that's Keith's ceiling. He knows it, and he's okay with it. He's just
yeah. Well, to be fair, it's all Keith's fault, anyways, right? He's the one that shot the Jeff's orcs off the table yonders ago, and this is the result. So thanks, Keith.
Blame Keith.
Yeah, and I think but I think that is the thing about War Machines, right? It is the initiative thing because if when you lose your hammer turn 1 to War Machines, that's the bad feel in it. I think that's the if there was some way to mitigate that, it's probably a much better feel. But and then when someone plays it so well, I couldn't play it that well. Oh, he's back.
Yeah,
he's back.
But that's the thing. Like that's
oh my gosh.
Initiative. Like War Engines give you that initiative, and then like just knowing that second wave of shooting is coming if you get closer. It's just like you have that looming threat, which is a different kind of initiative. It's like like the fear. So I think he can really capitalizes on that.
I mean, he dictates the pace of the game, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
He controls against most players. There are obviously Keith Conroy was an exception to that, and I'm sure if you have a good list that can go against it, which there are lists out there, then you have a chance.
I played against Shannon Shoemaker at Masters this year with my undead, and he had the same triple trombone, triple bang it, triple wing it. It wasn't exactly the same as Jeff's list, but pretty similar. And I mean, it was a very close game, but I beat it, so it's not unbeatable. They hate Wraith Troops. Wraith Troops is a hard counter to that Goblin list. Absolutely, but not everybody has the tools to deal with it.
Yeah. So nobody was surprised to see Jeff O'Neill take it 5-0 or 4-0-1. He had the draw against Keith in round 4. And then Keith obviously had a dirty shooting elf list, which, people. I mean, he says there's a lot of difference between when he was bourboned up on our show 2 years ago between now and then, but I don't know. I mean, it's still the same in my mind, the same dirty list. And then huge shout out to Andrew Atkins. So Andrew Atkins is a player from Arkansas, which I'm sure Tom knows. It's met before. We call him the Mountain because he is 6 foot wide, 6 foot tall. So King of Memphis, just a few weeks ago, he's just getting back into the game. His cousin, who learned the game from me, which he's not great, right? Technically though, he also been playing with Kyle Poole, so that might be the reason. But basically, his cousin Trey challenged him. I got dwarves, and Andrew brought his ogres and got bitch slapped, like just hard, and had a terrible weekend. But this weekend, he lost his first game against another new player, to ogres nonetheless. Interesting ogre list. So this one caught me. You can tell it's a new player. This one caught me by surprise. It was a horde of ogres. It was like 4 hordes of siege breakers, 3 berserker brave hordes, and that's it. Like there was no characters, there's no inspiring, there's no nothing. It's running forward and punch you in the face. And it did okay against Andrew, but like later on, people were like, "Well, you just chaff it up. You just
step around it."
Yeah, yeah. But it was interesting to see someone bring that was. I think it was his first GT. See him bring that list, and he raffle stomped Andrew. But I think in the NashCon recordings, which are not out yet, you'll hear Andrew lament a little bit. Dice may have been swinging in the other guy's favor, but he lost his first game, and then he won his last 4. So and the one thing that we haven't given enough credit to him is the same thing we've been talking about Dylan Scribner. They have been working on their hobby, and Andrew's army is legitimately painted well now. And so, I mean, I remember when we would give him shit for having unpainted models. He's just like, I'm here for best general. I'm just here for best general. Right. But those days are over. So he's a good sport. He's starting to paint while he can battle. So I think the South may start seeing more guys from Arkansas. If
Andrew's like third. He's like third in the South right now. I was just looking at Mike Atkins' website to see where I was after Bison Brawl, and I'm like, oh, Andrew's like third right now. So as if we needed more competition in the South, right? But that's great.
Exactly. So anyways, you can look at the list here. There's a lot of names you would know, and a few that you don't know. A lot of Blue Sea Brawl guys there. A lot of guys from Memphis are there. We had some out of towners though. Felix came down and joined us, and Blake Schroed from Michigan came down and joined us. So a lot of fun. But next year, same location. We'll put the details out, and we'll have some more coverage on that coming up. And by the way, if you go, maybe you'll get to play me, and I'll have a beat stick of a ringer list, and I'll shoot you off the table. I don't know. You'll
have one of the secret army, a list from the secret army at hand.
Exactly. Well, one of the things about NashCon that's nice is that it is part of a convention, which is unusual for most. Adepticon's another one where it's part of a bigger event, and I was just thinking about I went and bought like a paint rack, right, our tools rack, and then I got these Green Stuff World leaf stamps, which are cool. That's the kind of stuff you can see and you can buy at conventions that you won't be able to buy necessarily at a one-off GT. So if there's some out there that are part of a bigger convention, by all means. And then Miniature Market not miniature market. I always say that. Miniature Building Authority. You guys know those guys, the guys that have the pre-painted buildings. They're from Atlanta, Georgia. Obviously, Matt, this doesn't mean anything to you. You're Australian, so I'm sorry. And Canadian brother, probably not. Jeremy, you know about Miniature Building Authority?
Yeah, I think I've seen some of their stuff before.
Yeah. So they have I don't know if these are miscasts or what, but they've got these resin bits that they sell. And this is like siege stuff for a siege or stacks of barrels. And they're not painted, but $1 a piece. So I bought a giant bag of resin, which, who doesn't like resin?
Cool multi-base stuff, maybe?
Exactly.
First off, did I miss us ridiculing Tom for finishing second behind someone no one's ever heard of? Because I asked him the same thing.
I sort of said that, but I didn't say it as succinctly as you, so please.
Rob said it the polite way.
I was like, who's that? No offense to that person. There's lots of great people I've never heard. But I was just I've never heard of that person. But anyway. Okay.
Yeah, well, yeah, we covered that already, Jeremy.
Okay, well, good. I'm glad. It's
it only took not to defend myself.
You can restart your computer again now, Jeremy.
Need one by one.
Oh my god, this is the worst electronics purchase I've ever bought in my whole life.
Well, bag them live. Maybe they'll send you a new one. Go on. Maybe when they realize this has a whole 10 views.
Seriously, I'll be all you don't want me bad mouthing your company on my platform.
You may lose one sale in 3 years.
That's funny.
Oh, jeez, Louise.
But we haven't even talked about you, Jeremy. How was the honeymoon?
Oh, it was super fun. We went to Maui. I discovered my new favorite drink, which I was sharing it with everyone, the lava flow. Which is what happens anytime I look at Crozier. But
I was going to say, did the lava flow make the love and flow?
Yes, it did. So it's a pina colada with but added to it is a raspberry puree basically, and that's the lava. It was cool. We had our room right above where they did the drums of the Pacific luau. So it's $400, but we could see it from our balcony. So we would just get food and watch it from our balcony. And then I got my drums of the Pacific out. So, and but it was awesome.
I'm not even sure how that translates, but hey.
Yeah.
I'll just give me a moment. I'm just imagining.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's some lava.
You can turn your camera off, Matt. You can turn your camera off, Matt.
Well, I figured you guys would travel. Oh, with the recent fans only decision to reverse course, I figured you guys were going to want to talk about that.
Oh, yeah. The porn apocalypse.
Right. Yeah. We're not going to have adult content. Oh wait, we make way too much money. We better have adult content. It's it's been a weird week for a lot of weird industries, though. So
what else? What else? People are making fake Crozier UB accounts.
Yeah, there's
Tom
that.
Ennis is finishing second to people we've never heard of. What else? Well, Jeff O'Neill, shocker, won another tournament in the Southeast.
My OnlyFans got shut down.
He's got second, so everything is normal still.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. What else have I missed? Missed anything?
Yeah, you can't leave again, Jeremy. Things get too crazy when you're gone.
The world tilts.
Behaving.
Yeah.
I embraced the baldness. You missed that.
Oh, nice.
Oh, there you go. Just roll with it.
There's a cream for that.
I don't doubt it. I do not doubt it.
That's someone that speaks from experience.
Yeah. That is true.
Hillary did give me some there.
Where do you think Matt got it, right?
Yeah. We were there at the Hyatt Resort, and I joked on there going, I was like, oh, the Hawaii is part of the West region for Kings of War. We should build the scene jokingly.
Find the local hobby shop.
Walking down this hall, and it's the Okunu Papa ballroom. It's glorious, the ocean breeze. And she's like, "Oh, this would be a good spot for a tournament." And I was like, "Yes,
yes, it would."
With the $1,000 entry fee,
Yeah. Yeah, and that really made you want to get your Pacific drums out, didn't it, Jeremy? You're like, oh, you're talking Harvey on our honeymoon?
What? I know. It's funnier if I tell it like you said it seriously. He's like, I was joking. Nothing you could see. Look how tan she looks.
Wow.
She's super tan too.
Yeah.
But what we did find is I had a bunch of guys at my wedding and the facility that we used for that. So that I think is probably going to be. I'm hoping where the Grapes of Wrath or the Kings of whatever. I had to see. I'm so discombobulated. Kings of Grapes, Grapes of Kings, whatever the tournament.
Jeremy's grapes.
Yes, and we joked about it. And it's going to be like a Greek agricultural themed. I will be in a toga. I will have a chalice of Dr. Pepper as I'm sipping, as I'm coming, giving my rule decrees. Anyway, it's going to be fun. So more on that.
I thought didn't you say the slogan was going to be all stem, no grapes?
Well, that could be. I'll put it in the hopper for possible choices. I can always.
There are no wrong answers in brainstorming, Matt.
Yeah, that's true.
There's just stupid ones.
Yeah.
Yeah. Challenges are just a pathway to mastery. So.
Oh God. Paige, there you go. Well, he's already done that one. So
too much lava.
Too much lava. So what's everybody else have on the docket? You've got Alex. You've got a tournament coming up in October, right? How are signups?
Yeah. So King Beyond the Wall. I think we're at 18, and nice. I have a lot of people to chase down that are like, we're definitely coming, and they haven't signed up yet. So all you guys in North Bay, all you guys in London, KW, Toronto, you guys got to actually sign up because we got some. So the coolest thing is, I think I said it last time, but there's been a few people that I've never met or heard of signed up that are within like an hour or two of where I live. So it's really cool to see the community growing, like not through just my intervention. So it's just like random people picking up Kings of War and finding the event, finding the community. So I think once things stop being once the stores allow gaming again around here, we can really get the community going. Like it's probably got like. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Matt.
No. Sorry, I wasn't saying.
Okay. Yeah. Because like our community was really strong through the whole break that we had to the enforced break, and we're still raring to go. And I think with new players coming in and some new guys from Buffalo coming up, I think it's going to be great. I think Americans can come up here now. We still can't cross the border to the States, but.
Yeah, where can we see all the great pictures?
I'll put some on the website. So I had to wear a suit for the ceremony, and then I could go full Hawaiian once we were in the dancing portion of the reception. So nice. We had all these balloons filled with glitter. So Hillary popped one, and I was like in being rained on with glitter. Yeah. So nice little event, fun little shindig.
Yeah. Well, you only do it once if you do it right.
Yeah, and that's what. And then we went to this amazing fish restaurant in Maui called Mama's Fish House, which I posted some pictures of on the Facebook page. It's like a world famous. You got to book 3 to 6 months in advance to get a table.
Did you book 3 months in advance?
Yes. So my fish, I had like this beautiful white fish that was stuffed with lobster and crab with an additional lobster tail on the side if because the stuffed lobster is not enough lobster.
Yo, amazing. Dog, we heard you like lobster.
Yeah,
that's funny.
And then we went snorkeling, and it was pretty fun. Have you guys ever been to? Well, I know Matt probably hasn't, but have you guys been to Hawaii?
I have not.
You have not?
Negative.
I know Tom has.
Yeah, that's actually where I did my honeymoon. So
okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Didn't make it a Mama's Fish House, but yeah, it's like all the way down the south part of the island.
It's on the other side. Yeah, on the windward side of the island. So, in Hawaii, all the resorts are on the west side. It's like the better weather side, and the waters are calmer, and there's more beaches. And then the east side is the more windy side, so there's not as much going on that.
Listen to this guy. He's a freaking expert now.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to say, looks like there's sun on both sides. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Matt, what do you have coming up, tournament-wise?
We're locked down, mate. So, pretty much, yeah.
Nothing for you.
Yep. State within a state is locked down. There's next door's locked down. The other next door.
Does that mean you have like one case?
We did go into lockdown for one case, yes, but that has got out. But New South Wales, which is around us, they're up to about 1,200 a day. So, yeah. And when your health system's spread out, like that becomes difficult to cope with. So, anyway. Yeah.
What do you got on the burner, Tom? Obviously, you got Dojo Tournament Samurai Showdown coming up. What's after that? Alamo, is that it for the year?
Yeah, Alamo's in October this year instead of November. So Jeff's tournament, Living Legends, is going to be
December.
the first weekend of December, which is my wife's birthday. So I don't know if I'm able to swing that, but I'm going to try. And then after that is going to be King of the Monsters.
King of the Monsters in Batesville, Arkansas now, which is even closer to us. Right, because he's moved. So Dylan has moved from Texarkana to Batesville. So it's more centrally low. I think his mom got ill and he's taking care of her. So, but that's like an extra 4 or 3 hours, maybe, that are off my drive and onto your drive. So I don't feel bad. It's okay.
Yeah, you guys drive enough to our stuff, so we can drive.
Do. Well, you guys put on a good show. So, Jeremy, how about you? You got anything? Well, no, there's nothing going on in California, right?
No, but I think I'm going to Refugees of the Old World, which is October 15th.
Good.
In Rexburg, Ben Stotter's tournament. So there's some Reno guys going. So depending on how travel is looking at that point, I may either fly or drive to Reno, which is pretty closer to me, and then drive up with the Reno guys.
Yeah.
So I think it's like a 7 or 8 hour drive from Reno there. So definitely doable. But yeah, so that's 2,200 points plus a special character. So I guess I will be playing the Basileans probably, as all my other projects will not be near ready by October. And then Living Legends, Social Justice 3, The Final Justice will be making its way. And since Tom isn't playing, maybe we won't go undefeated again and lose to a dojo team that beats us on sports like last year because of handsome Tom Annis sports scoring us. Honey potting
that's
us.
still like my top 5, maybe top 3 Kings of War moments. It's the one thing announced that. Todd was so pissed.
He's still mad. I was like, I said it before. I was like, oh, we still won battle, and Todd is like, ah.
Amazing.
That's funny.
So, so that's pretty funny. I think we may both play evil armies. So we finally got so frustrated that we both turned to the dark side and are playing evil armies. So, but we'll see.
Did you just say you're playing Backsland?
When are you going to debut your super secret new project? What's the goal for that?
Well, that I will once I have a couple units done. I will show. I want to show the units. Like I don't want to show individual models, but when I'm finishing units, I will show.
So what's the first unit you're painting?
It's a unit of the army. You'll see it. You'll see it shortly.
Oh, will I?
But that project is actually going really well. I'm really excited.
Hard for me to get excited if I don't know what it is.
Yeah, well, you'll live. And then I've been using the Reaper paints, with my $25 full set of Reaper paints.
I just told that story yesterday to Dan Kamek, and he was like, how? I was like, I don't know, man.
I don't know, Jeremy,
man.
Like I said, man. Reaper it's Reaper's wedding present to us.
It was amazing.
I absolutely love them.
It's the best paint.
They are fastly becoming my favorite paint just from I like to paint in thin layers. These paints are very watered down. Many of them you don't really need to thin at all. They're fine right.
You use a wet palette, you can go right on the wet palette. Usually
that's what I've been doing. I love also I feel like technique-wise, I've been growing as a painter, but I still have a hard part picking colors. Like, where do I even start? So the whole fact that Reaper's system is based around triads, our sets of colors, it gives you a starting point. So I'll start at a triad, and then if I want to start a little lighter, I just go into the third of the triad before that.
Well, like the khakis, there's like 7, 8, 9, 10 colors in khakis.
Exactly.
Just find where in that range you want to go.
Yeah.
So
talking gobbledygook to me, man. You're talking gobbledygook to me. Don't you just pick a color and go, and then just do a light
we need to do? You know what we need to do at some point? We need to do a host painting competition or a host raffle, maybe. Like I paint something for Matt says for Jeremy. So I don't know. We gotta work that out.
Yeah.
We gotta think about that. Well, on our end, we've got. Go ahead.
Sorry, I was just gonna say when is Clash of Kings Australia normally like outside if there was any health problems.
Yeah. So it'll still, at the moment, it'll still run. I mean, we're on track for a 70 to 80% vaccination target, fully vaccinated by November. So we should be opening up back by then.
That's still my goal is to like.
So that's in January, right, Matt?
Yeah. So it's in January. So we've got a couple of months after that.
I would really love to make the Clash of Kings in England and in Australia. You know what I mean? That would just be super fun life goal. So.
Oh yeah, it'll be the first time lava's flowed in Australia. That's for sure.
Seriously.
Man, he's been waiting since you said it. He's been waiting for the opportunity.
Well, thanks. Thanks. I got to give a shout out to Mark Zielinski. Is at the wedding, I posted the lava flow picture, and then him and Mrs. Zielinski sent me a PayPal wedding present and was like, "Drink more lava flows." And considering how expensive lava flows, I got to get 1.5 more lava flows. So thank you, my friend. I appreciate it. It was beautiful.
That's funny.
So
that's funny. Well, in our end, next weekend we got Sword of Kings in Elizabethtown, Kentucky, at Hard Knocks Games. That'll be another one where it's not for the faint of heart. No. Jeff O'Neill and the Boogeyman will be there to shoot you off the table. And then up in the Midwest, I'm going to Michigan GT October 8th through 10th in Lansing, Michigan. And then we have our own tournament in November. It's called the Forge GT, which is run by the Sons of Vulcan. So it's what you would expect. Low paint, low sports contribution to overall, right? A lot of battle, a lot of kick you in the balls. And you know what? If you want to, it's a great place to test your mettle. You should join us sometime. Tom, make the trip over. Birmingham's not that far. You can fly. We pick you up.
Yeah. No, they got direct flights there. It is on my goal next year to make a Southeast tournament. I think maybe TNT, but I need to do that for sure.
So there's a lot of events. Even COVID notwithstanding, obviously it's going to certainly impact some of them. But hopefully, as things improve, things will get better and attendance will increasing.
We're meeting here. We have a West leadership meeting here in the next week or so. So we'll be talking about all our dates. I know Rashad is busy working on getting all the scenarios ready for Riddle of Steel, which is going to be held in a bowling alley this year that has a full bar. Yeah. So, and it's going to be the same deal. He's thinking of getting a bunch of cool stuff and doodads for that. So we're going to have some more stuff with that. Bay of Kings is probably going to be moving to San Diego. Especially
they have a bay down there, right? So it's okay. They have a bay.
Yeah. And since Britain's down there, and since I'm looking at running
different kind of bay, but
the Grapes of Wrath tournament in Napa, that will probably take over the Bay Area, Greater Bay Area region tournament. So we're hoping to have some more stuff. So the Michigan one, Rob, I think I listened to an episode. You had that's going to be at like a convention at like a really nice hotel, right?
It's at the Lansing Convention Center.
Okay,
so
cool.
It's a very nice, it's gonna be.
And that's where you're from, right? So you're gonna stay with.
I am.
See some family while you're up there.
Well, I'll stay with my mom, right, and just take my daughter and my dog up there, and so So the cost of the convention is one thing, but like all the extra stuff is really not there, other than parking. So it should be good. This is the first year they're running a 2-day. Now, I'm gonna nitpick a little bit though, because like. There's a couple things on the paint scoring that are a little bit like, okay, can't win best painted if you don't have preferred model count. That's a bit of a hard hit.
Yeah.
A bit of a hard push for me.
Yeah.
And then the other one is, which isn't that big a deal, but you get a bonus if you get 90% Mantic. That's fine. But that's at least not saying you can't win best painted if you don't have 90% Mantic.
Yeah, the preferred model count one is tough because there's plenty of bases that are completely full, excellently painted, that maybe are one model under what the new preferred. And it's like, how could you not
Well, the other thing that's struggling me is like, okay, I'm gonna take some fanatics for Kingdoms of Men, but how I base them is everything. So if I base them as a regiment, I need 15. If I base them as troops, I need 8. Right? So does that make sense? So like if I do 4 troops to make a horde, I've painted 32 models essentially.
Yeah.
And I only needed 30. So it's kind of like, I don't know. I don't know. I think, I don't know. I'm still absorbing the requirement and starting to, I don't like it. So I don't like it. I think it's stupid. I think there's something to be said with making people have the volume, right?
Yeah.
And your unit looks like it's supposed to look like, but some arbitrary numbers in a book.
But,
Yep.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I'm all for encouraging full based things.
The
but I don't
other
like
thing that. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I just don't like making it a hard criteria like that. Give it bonus points or whatever, you know what I mean? So if two armies are equal in skill, the one that has more models could be like a tiebreaker type thing. That makes sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing that Ryan's really got me, he's changed my opinion on when they say things like, does it use advanced techniques? And then they state the advanced techniques. What if I don't like OSL? What if I don't like NMM?
Right.
Like, you're telling me I have to do it, but like, what if it doesn't make any sense for the concept that I'm going for? Where's freehand?
Yeah.
Is freehand
you don't
advanced
do it
technique?
very well.
Right.
Well,
Yeah, exactly. Sorry. Uh-oh. Did we catch Alex midstream?
In my rubric, I had like. Can you hear me?
Is he going all Shatner on us? Yeah, you're back.
You're back.
Yeah, you had a couple glitches.
Okay. I was gonna say in my rubric we have advanced techniques and we just list a few, and there was like for instance, and it's like we don't get a check mark for OSL or freehand specifically because like it may not be the right technique for the army. So
and like you can paint with metal paints, but do true metal metallic where you're still shading and you're still doing complex things. But it's so there's lots of, or even just blending, and there's lots of stuff that you could do it more at an advanced level. That's not sort of like, I hate to say gimmick thing because there's people who do it really well. Those OSL or stuff like that. But
you could say you're just picking on Jeff again. Come on. Why are you picking on Jeff?
The OSL are like water bases. Some are really nice, right? But there's things that people do where it's like, look, I did it. Check it, and it's like, does it actually help the theme of the army?
Or one conversation we had at Bison Brawl was points for conversions. That used to be really big, but now with 3D printing, should we give as many points for conversions? Because
no, 100% agree. No, if you 3D print something, it ain't a conversion. Like I can just like add this to the model and print it. That's not a conversion.
Well, I think like you can get points for conversions, but again, like I like to like have it a bit more open, like have categories of like modeling and basing and conversion, like kind of like players' creativity category essentially. Like did you do something that's kind of like weird and outside the box?
But I don't get that. I don't get why you should have to do that.
No, not as a have to, like as a way to get points. Like, I think if there are more points available, like then there are, like if you can get points in different categories to add up to 25 or 30, but there are 40 points available that some are mutually exclusive, some aren't. Like you wouldn't be able to get true metallic, and non-metallic,
right?
Kind of thing. But
I'm also fine with if you wanted to have a cap score as a contribution to overall. So let's say that for best painted, it's out of 50, but only 25 of those points work to overall. So if you're really not there for best painted, you have lots of options just to get those 25 points.
Yep.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, guys, I think we're at time. Tom, thanks for coming on and chatting with us about all.
Yeah, you were on longer than Jeremy, Tom.
Yeah, sorry
for sure.
Sorry that I missed. I really appreciate.
Yeah.
Apologize.
So I promise the next time you come on, can you maybe win a tournament for us? That'd be
I'll try.
You got a couple of weeks to warm up for a dojo, so make sure you win that one.
He just likes how silver looks on him. He doesn't like gold.
Did he?
You guys losing to Tyler Schultz at Masters, and then now today, man, I got to do something, or you guys are just gonna keep killing me.
What are you taking?
Well, man,
no pressure. No pressure.
Yeah. I don't know. After this, I'm going to have to take Undead again. I was going to take League of Rordia and be, friendly, but I think you guys are pushing me back.
Yeah. Until you get that number one, you got to keep bringing the big boys.
Yeah. Should I listen to Tom Annis? He's never won anything.
Yeah, exactly.
No, thanks for having me on. It was good. It was great to be on.
Yeah.
Well, all right. Jeremy, do you want to take us out since you're the freshly minted lava flower?
Yeah, sure. Remember to always keep drinking lava flows and countercharging.